If you're looking to break away from music streaming services, you're going to need to get a DAP, a digital audio player. But what one should you get? A while back, I picked up this HiFi Walker H2 and I made an initial unboxing and first impressions video of it. But at this point, I've been using it for a couple of months now, pretty much every day. So I figured now would be a good time to circle back, give an updated opinion on it, my final thoughts, and whether or not I recommend you get it. So if you're in the market for a DAP, stick around. I'll let you know, is the HiFi Walker H2 worth picking up? In my last couple of videos, I've been talking about my inspiration and process for moving away from music streaming services, kind of the why and how of rebuilding my personal music collection. And in those videos, I've mentioned getting a DAP a couple of times so that you have your music library portable and on the go. As a quick intro to the world of DAPs, they are essentially what an iPod was in 2006. You load your music onto it, you put your files on it, and you have your music on the go. You can listen with headphones, you can listen in the car, pretty much wherever you would be listening to music on your phone today, you can listen to a DAP. There are a ton of DAPs out there, ranging from $60 to multiple thousands of dollars. There are touchscreen DAPs that run on Android and connect to the internet. There are dumb DAPs that have no smart capabilities. Some have higher grade components than others, but all of them have a few basic features in common. First, they all store and play a pretty wide range of types of music files. If you've got a library full of FLAC or MP3s or AACs or WAVs or OGGs, pretty much any DAP is going to be able to play it. Second, they will just generally sound better than listening to music on your phone. The digital to audio converters in a DAP are just going to be better than the ones that you find in your phones. And third, they will all have some sort of Bluetooth and wired headphone connections. So if you're using AirPods or Pixel Buds or you want to connect in your car, you can. And if you have a nice pair of IEMs or good headphones and you want to listen that way and take advantage of that higher quality DAC, you can do that too. But after that, selecting a DAP for yourself is going to pretty much come down to budget, preference, and experience. I initially went with the HiFi Walker H2 because I wanted something that was not smart, not connected to the internet. I wanted something that had physical buttons instead of a touch screen, and I was looking for something under $150. That said, I would love to try out some other DAPs, compare them, see how they stack up against each other. If that's something that you'd like to see me do, leave a comment, let me know. I'll see if I can get my hands on some other things and make some comparisons. But for now, let's take a look at the HiFi Walker H2 so you can decide if this one is right for you. Out of the box, the HiFi Walker H2 has an ESS ES9018 K2M DAC and provides 70 milliwatts of power at 32 ohms. So it's able to play high resolution, lossless music files and drive relatively high impedance headphones while staying distortion free. It has Bluetooth 5.2 to connect with wireless headphones or your vehicle, a 2-inch display, a scroll wheel, and physical buttons, and it measures about 2 1/8 inch wide, 3.5 inches long, and about a 1/2 inch thick. The device itself doesn't have any internal storage or memory, so you're going to have to use an SD card with it. But most options that you're going to find, especially on Amazon, will come with either a 64 or 128 gigabyte SD card, but that is upgradable up to 512 megabytes of an SD card if that's an upgrade that you want to make. It claims about 10 hours of battery life and is USB-C rechargeable, and right now on Amazon they're going for $124 with the 64 gigabyte SD card and $140 for the 128 gigabyte SD card. As for my initial thoughts when I first got this, I was neutral to slightly positive about it. The sound quality was definitely fantastic as advertised. I had picked up a nice pair of IEMs and I was listening to music and enjoying it in ways that I hadn't in a very long time. The quality difference between streaming music on Bluetooth headphones from my phone and listening to high quality rips of my favorite CDs with IEMs on this is just night and day. That said, I'm not an audiophile. I'm not going to pretend to be one for you here, but to my ears, the difference was massive, and it gets plenty loud too. And there were no issues getting it set up. It was pretty straightforward, other than the time that it took to get my roughly 85 gigabytes of music uploaded onto it, but that's something I'll come back to in a couple minutes. On the downside, the navigation on this thing felt a bit clunky and a little less than intuitive, particularly with the scroll wheel. It just wasn't responsive the way that I wanted it to be. It's a physical scroll wheel, not capacitive, and it clicks for every rotation that you make. But the thing that I found was that I would have to click it 7 or 8 times to get the line on the screen to move, maybe 5. The screen just didn't match, didn't sync up with what I was doing with the scroll wheel, and it was pretty annoying. But that is something that I'll come back to later, because that did get better with some of the changes that I made. If you venture into the world of DAPs, especially at this budget range, you're going to hear about Rockbox. Rockbox is free custom firmware that you can install on your device. It's available for a wide range of devices. It's been around for years and is highly recommended if you get the HiFi Walker H2. So after about a week of being slightly annoyed with the UI of the native system on this device, I decided to give Rockbox a try. I will say it does take a little bit of figuring out to get it installed on there, but I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, and I was able to figure out and get it done in about half an hour without any problem. But with Rockbox, you have the ability to upload custom themes to change the look and feel of your device. You have a little bit more control over things like EQ and volume, and it comes with some extra utilities and even some games. But the other change that I made with the device goes back to those slow transfer speeds. Although I did appreciate that it came with a 128 gig SD card, just wasn't the highest quality of cards. So I ended up upgrading that to a 256 gig SD card with better read-write speeds, and it took about a quarter of the time to load my music onto that than it did on the SD card that came with the device. And I think that would be my first recommendation here. If you're gonna get one of these devices, even if you're not gonna put Rockbox on it, save a little bit, maybe get the model with the smaller SD card, or look around and see if you can find one without an SD card, so that you can spend that money, put that money towards a better, higher quality, bigger capacity SD card to pair with it. So finally, after all of those changes, what do I think about it now? Well, today I am much happier with this device than I was when I initially got it. For me, that primarily comes down to Rockbox. The UI is just so much smoother. The scroll wheel is perfectly responsive, and all those complaints and annoyances that I had about that initially are just gone. I've really enjoyed testing out different themes and finding appealing skins that I like. And I've been able to experiment with EQ and other settings within the system so much easier than I was with the native system. It's just overall a better experience. In terms of audio quality, it's still great. There hasn't really been any change there. I've still been having a blast listening to all of the CDs that I've been ripping and just enjoying music in a way that I haven't enjoyed it in a really long time. I'm re-experiencing some of my favorite albums almost like it's the first time, and hearing things that have gone unnoticed for years. But with all that, there is one big caveat that I want to mention with Rockbox that may change your decision here, which is that Bluetooth stops working after you've installed Rockbox. Personally, I use wired headphones and an aux cable in my car, so it's not a problem for me, but if you rely on Bluetooth, it's definitely something that you want to keep in mind. I have seen that a fix to this might be coming, but as of right now, I haven't come across it yet. So now the big question, is it worth picking up a HiFi Walker H2? Well, I don't think that's something that I can give you a definitive yes or no for. I think this device is great for some people. I really like it, but I think there will be people who just don't, which is why I tried to be as honest as possible here while I've been talking about this device and its features and some of its issues. It's just not a perfect device. It's a budget-friendly entry-level DAP, and with that, you're gonna have to make some trade-offs. But on the positive side, it sounds fantastic and will play pretty much any audio file you want to throw on it. It's got physical buttons and no smart features, which were important to me as I've been working on being a little bit more conscious and conscientious about my use of technology. And once you get Rockbox installed, it really is a solid device, especially at this price point. That said, I think to get the most out of this device, you do have to install Rockbox, and doing so will break Bluetooth, which might be important to you. Again, these are trade-offs that I was very okay with. The installation of Rockbox wasn't all that bad. Not having Bluetooth isn't a deal breaker for me. But those are things that you should be aware of. So overall, I don't think I can tell you whether you should or shouldn't get this. I can say that I'm happy with it, that I hope I provided enough information for you here to make the best decision for yourself. I know there are a ton of other DAPs at this price point and in this budget range with a bunch of different features, and I'd love to be able to check them out and provide feedback for you and recommendations based on a wider sampling of experience. If you want to see that, you can help me out by liking this video, maybe sharing it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, and most of all, head over to my Patreon. I'm doing a ton of artist deep dives over there, along with a bunch of Twitch streams, discovering new music, and sharing my journey of reigniting my passion for music after 40. So check those links down in the description and join us over there. But until next time, I'm Kyle, and this is Hendy Creek. Music was everything to me growing up, but somehow life got in the way, and for 15 years I barely listened to anything new. Now I'm 40 and I'm diving back in, one song, one album at a time, and sharing that journey with you. Welcome to Hendy Creek.